You ever notice how betrayal doesn't kick down the front door? It opens the closet. Quietly. My name's Grant Taylor. I'm 37. Live in Boise, Idaho, real working man town. I've got a house with a crooked fence, a pickup that only starts on the second try, and a wife who used to run her fingers through my hair like I was the only man on the planet. Her name is Rena. We met in a bookstore, yeah, one of those rare ones that still sell actual books. She was thumbing through a copy of Beloved like she understood it, and I cracked some dumb line about sad books and sad eyes. She laughed. We married 2 years later. Lived a good, small life. Date nights at food trucks. Shared bills. Yard work on Sundays. We didn't have kids, not for lack of trying, but we had a rhythm. Or so I thought. Until that closet door. It was the guest bedroom. I only went in there to find a spare phone charger. But the door was half closed. And I heard her in there, giggling. Not phone giggling, live giggling. I froze. Then stepped quietly, slowly, like approaching a deer that might spook. The door creaked. She wasn't with someone. She was alone. Standing in front of the mirror, wearing lingerie I'd never seen before, whispering into her phone, "I'm wearing it now. Do you want to see?" Pause. Then she laughed again. "I wish you were here instead of him." Him. Him was me. The husband. The placeholder. She turned slightly, enough for me to catch her reflection, smiling at someone through the front-facing camera. I didn't make a sound. I stepped back. Closed the door. Walked out to the garage and stood there for 20 minutes, staring at my shelves like they might offer instructions. I didn't confront her. I didn't throw things or scream. Because this wasn't the kind of betrayal you catch red-handed. This was premeditated loneliness. And you don't win that war with a broken plate. You win it by becoming the ghost in your own house. Over the next week, I played my part. I cooked. I cleaned. I kissed her on the cheek before work. But every smile I gave her was a mask. And under that mask, something was sharpening. Because if she wanted to play pretend, I'd show her what it meant to lose at her own game. What she didn't know. I was already writing the script for her collapse. Rena always underestimated me. Maybe it was because I fix HVAC systems for a living and don't post quotes about energy and alignment. Maybe it was because I wore the same boots until the soles gave out. But she forgot one thing. You don't have to be loud to be dangerous. Especially when you know how to listen. The night I caught her in the guest room, I didn't just walk away in silence. I started building my case. Not legal. Not even moral. Personal. This wasn't about catching her. It was about showing her what she'd done in a way that couldn't be denied, spun, or filtered. She'd always been weird about passwords, claimed it was just a boundary. I never pushed. But now? Now I pushed. I started with her iPad. She used it mostly for reading and Pinterest. But she'd linked it to her phone for photo syncing months ago. Thought I didn't notice. I did. And I remembered the passcode she used on everything when we first started dating. Her ex's birthday. Darkly fitting now. Worked on the first try. Messages. Screenshots. Voicemails. She kept everything. Like a trophy shelf of betrayal. There were texts from someone named D, too flirty to be a friend, too bold to be casual. D, I'm going crazy waiting to see you again. You wearing the black thing today? Rena, only if you behave. And no marks this time. Grant almost saw last week. There it was. The almost that never happened because I trusted her. I felt sick, but I kept scrolling. I had to. She'd met D at a wine tasting event. He was married. 2 kids. A gym body and an ego to match. They'd been sneaking around for 4 months. Hotels. Daytime meetups. A conference she said she'd be attending in Portland was actually a 2-day stay at a bed and breakfast 2 hours away. She used our emergency fund to pay for it. I didn't get angry. I got precise. I downloaded everything. Compiled it into folders, messages, locations, photos, audio. I even recorded a couple of voice memos she sent him, one of her saying he still thinks we're fine. Honestly, it's kinda hot having a secret. Hot, right? I bought a burner phone the next day. Cheap Android, no personal ties. Using a new number, I texted D anonymously, "Does your wife know about your Portland trip with Rena?" No response. Then 3 hours later, "Who is this?" I didn't reply. Because silence, when timed correctly, is a detonator. Meanwhile, at home, Rena was playing the good wife again. Cooking. Music in the kitchen. Even initiated sex, rare, after the last few cold months. I let her. Because when you're about to take away everything from someone, you let them think they still have it all. One night, while she slept, I uploaded a backup of her affair archive to a secure cloud. I titled the folder, "For When You Lie to Yourself Again." The final touch? A photo I took of her sleeping that same night. Peaceful. Innocent looking. I added it to the folder. Because when the time came, I wanted her to see the exact face she wore while destroying everything we had. This wasn't revenge. Not yet. This was preparation. Rena thought she was in a movie she directed. She didn't realize I had taken the script. And I was about to change the ending. The moment I knew I had her, it wasn't the texts. Not the photos. Not even the video of her giggling in that hotel robe she claimed was just a spa day with the girls. It was a Thursday. She got home from errands and looked me straight in the face and said, "You be proud of me." I finally organized the donation closet. The same closet I'd seen her zip a small duffel into last week, black lace peeking from the side, a scent that wasn't hers lingering in the air. She smiled, kissed my cheek, went upstairs like she hadn't just fed me polished garbage. That's when I knew she'd bought into the lie of her own lie. So I lit the fuse. Step 1 was D. I found his wife's Facebook through a tagged family photo in Rena's messages. Her name was Beth. Kindergarten teacher. They had twin girls. The kind who make matching Halloween costumes and believe in second chances until they shouldn't. I didn't come in swinging. I came in soft. I sent Beth one photo. Just one. Rena in the passenger seat of D's car. Her hand on his thigh. No context. No date. Just image. With the message, "You deserve to know who's been in your driveway while you were putting your daughters to bed." That was on a Monday. By Wednesday, I came home to find Rena sitting on the back porch holding her phone like it had betrayed her. "You okay?" I asked, neutral. She blinked at me. "Weird question, have you talked to anyone about us lately?" I smiled. "Nope." "Why?" She shook her head. I don't know. Something feels off." "Oh, Rena." Everything was off. You just finally noticed. Step 2 was the social burn. Her friend Lydia, queen of the group chats, once called me a solid guy during a tipsy dinner. She didn't know much about our private life, but she trusted me. So I gave her a gift. Another burner account. A cropped screenshot of Rena telling D she was just faking it with Grant lately, but it's worth it for the alibi. Sent with the message, "You should probably know what she's been saying behind your back too." By the end of the week, Rena's phone buzzed less. Her girls' night was suddenly postponed. One morning she said, "I think Lydia's mad at me." I replied while pouring coffee, "She probably just saw something clearly for the first time." She stared at me a little too long. Like maybe she heard the echo under my words. But it was too late for doubt. I was already in position for the final move. Step 3? The dinner. Our 6-year anniversary was coming. We hadn't celebrated in 2. But this time I offered. Made a reservation at her favorite bistro. The one she told D I was too boring to appreciate. She got excited. Wore that green dress, the one she used to save for real occasions. I wore a black button-down. Clean shave. Calm smile. We ordered wine. She toasted second chances. I toasted new beginnings. Then I handed her a small gift box.
"Sorry to interrupt your viewing experience, but we really need your support, namely a subscription to the channel, which can make it possible to hire a professional voice actor and make the best content for you."
Inside, a flash drive. Her face changed. "What is this?" she asked, voice suddenly wary. "Just something to remind you who you really are." She didn't open it there. She slipped it into her purse with trembling hands, forced a smile. I raised my glass again. 2 endings. She drank, but not like someone celebrating. Like someone drowning. Because I'd just handed her a mirror and the only reflection it held was the wreckage she'd built with her own hands. She opened the flash drive at 11:47 p.m. I know because I saw the alert on my cloud account. Rena waited until I fell asleep or what she thought was sleep. I was wide awake in the next room watching the security cam in our office flicker to life as she plugged it into the laptop. She hesitated, hovered the mouse over the folder labeled You, then clicked. I had curated it carefully. Nothing vulgar. Nothing pornographic. Just truth layered, time-stamped, undeniable. A side-by-side log of her errands compared to GPS pings from D's truck. Screenshots of her texts highlighted in pale yellow with phrases like, "He's too dumb to notice," and "Honestly, I could be gone for a day and he'd think I was at Target." Photos. One from the Portland Inn, her standing on the porch in a robe, waving at someone off camera. The kicker? The final slide, a video of her asleep in our bed, my voice softly narrating. "This is the woman who used to say forever. This is the version of you I won't remember." She didn't cry right away. She just sat there. Frozen. Then I heard the slam, the laptop shut, a gasp like she'd been punched in the gut. And the sobbing began. I stayed still. No sympathy. No rush to comfort. She had made this mess wearing my name. She could choke on it alone. The next morning she didn't come downstairs. No breakfast. No music. Just silence thick enough to chew. At 9:13 a.m. she texted me from the bedroom. "Can we talk?" I didn't answer. At noon she came down. Hair unwashed, eyes raw. "Grant," she started, voice cracking. I didn't mean for it to go that far. I laughed. "Short. Cold. You planned weekends, Rena? Packed lingerie. That's not going too far. That's never intending to come back." Tears welled up. "Please, don't do this. We can fix it." "Fix what?" I snapped. "Your brand? Your lie? You didn't want me, Rena. You wanted the image. The fallback. The mortgage you didn't have to split." She reached out. I stepped back. "You don't get to touch me anymore." And just like that, the performance ended. She sat down on the floor like a puppet whose strings were finally cut. Whispered something about shame. About I don't recognize myself. I said, "That's the first honest thing you've said in months." I left that afternoon. Moved into a friend's guest house while I finalized everything. Quietly filed for divorce. Cited irreconcilable differences. No drama. No fight. But I left her one thing. I made the flash drive public. Shared it with her circle. A private link sent to 10 people, her best friend, her yoga instructor, her cousin she bragged to on FaceTime. No message. Just the truth. By the end of the week, she deactivated her Instagram. By the end of the month, she quit her job. By the end of the year, I heard she was in therapy. But it didn't matter. Because I wasn't watching anymore. She had always treated life like a stage. I just made sure the curtain finally dropped. Rena didn't fight the divorce. Didn't file a counterclaim. Didn't ask for the house. Didn't even show up in court. Her lawyer entered a generic response, mutual separation, irreconcilable breakdown, like a neat little bow tied around a house fire. The judge barely glanced at me. "Any objections, Mr. Taylor?" "None," I said. And meant it. The papers were stamped. Just like that, I was free. I walked out of that courthouse not as a man who'd lost something, but as a man who had finally put down a weight he didn't realize was strangling him. Freedom doesn't come with trumpets. Sometimes it comes in the sound of your own breathing when no one's lying next to you anymore. I heard things, of course. Rena's friend Lydia sent me a message weeks later. She says you ruined her. That you turned people against her. I didn't reply. There's no point arguing with someone who thinks honesty is an act of war. I bumped into Jenna, her cousin, at a grocery store once. She looked uncomfortable, asked how I was holding up. I said, better than she ever imagined. She nodded. Said, you know, the drive. It wasn't even the cheating that broke people. It was how easily she lied about you. I smiled. Yeah, she was good at that. Then I left my cart half full and walked out. Too many ghosts in frozen food aisles. Meanwhile, Rena disappeared. Not literally, but socially. She'd been the girl who posted every latte, every sunrise soul session, every stage candid in a thrifted hat. Yeah? Gone. Digital silence. But the silence was louder than the performance ever was. Because people noticed when she stopped posting. People asked. People talked. And when they asked me quietly, curiously, I gave them a shrug and one line. Not everything you see is real. That was enough. Because Rena had spent years crafting a character. And now that character had a history no one could unsee. I didn't hate her. Not anymore. Hate requires energy, and I had reclaimed mine. I started running again. Reading again. Eating alone and actually tasting the food. I'd forgotten what peace felt like. I took up wood carving of all things. Bought some old tools from a man at a flea market who said, "These'll teach you patience or kill your thumbs." Turned out I had patience to spare. My first finished piece? A small wolf. Not for her. Not symbolic. Just something primal. A creature that survives quietly. Bites only when necessary. People ask if I'll date again. Maybe. But I'm not in a rush. Because I already rebuilt one house from broken lies and rot, and this time I want to start with blueprints that don't involve pretending. I'm not bitter. I'm sharp. And the man who walked away from Rena isn't angry. He's aware. It's funny. When people say revenge, they picture blood and shouting. Some dramatic scene in the rain, maybe a slap, maybe a breakdown. Movie stuff. But real revenge? The kind that sticks? It's not a moment. It's a removal. Of your time. Your attention. Your space. It's erasing someone from your future so completely that they stop believing they were ever part of it. That's what I did to Rena. I didn't ruin her life. I just made her live it without my silence holding up her lies. No more alibis. No more placeholder kisses. No more safety net. She fell through her own performance. I gave her that chance. That dignity. That reflection she'd never dare post. And me? I moved. Left Boise 2 months after the papers finalized. Bought a place near Coeur d'Alene, smaller town, bigger skies, no old ghosts. I work when I want to. Carve when I don't. Read often. Started dating someone, eventually. Name's Elise. No Instagram. Loves rivers, not attention. First woman who ever asked me what I wanted before ordering 2 drinks. She knows about Rena. Not the details, but enough. She asked once if I ever miss her. I told her, no. I miss who I pretended she was. That's different. Elise nodded. Didn't push. That's how I knew she understood. And that's all I ever really wanted, someone who didn't need to be convinced I was worthy. Just someone honest. Sometimes I still get messages from people who knew us back then. Damn, man, I had no idea. Bro, how did you keep that calm? Wish I could have handled my divorce like that. They think it was strength. But it wasn't. It was clarity. Because when someone shows you who they are in high definition, the worst thing you can do is keep pretending it's a bad signal. Rena's living a quieter life now. I know that much. No social media. No circles. No audience. She's alone, and maybe that's punishment enough. Or maybe it's what she always needed to finally see herself without applause. I don't wish her well. But I don't wish her harm either. I just don't wish her anything. She's not my future. Not even my history. She's a chapter 1 closed without slamming the book. And the man I've become? He doesn't chase closure. He is closure. So if you ask me what justice looks like, it's this. Silence. Peace. And the knowledge that some people destroy themselves better than you ever could. You just have to let them.
What do you think of the story? Write in the comments.